Hey guys, Mr. Elliotts Gaming here, back after a little while. Thought I'd jump into a bit of Rimworld to get myself back into the rhythm of things. Um, so for this playthrough, we're gonna just try and do the standard thing: build up a colony, survive as long as you can, and then try and escape. We are playing with the Royals mod, the DLC actually, as well as a few other mods. For those interested, here is the list. Most of these are pretty much just quality of life things. Nice and easy. So, what are we doing in this? Apart from surviving. So, normally when I do this, I would kind of pick and choose random colonists and keep hitting the randomization until I find something I want. I thought I'd challenge myself for my return to Rimworld and recording by saying, firstly, the area that we pick is random. First hit, can't keep clicking, it's just going to be random. Secondly, when we go to choose our colonists, we can only choose from the ones that are pre-selected and generated. So if they're bad, we're in trouble. If they're really good, we're away. And if some of them are bad and some of them are good, it's a mixed bag. So without any further ado, let's get into it. We're going to start with the crash landed because it's been a little while and it's a bit more of a nicer start because we already have electricity. I'm not a pro tier player by any measure. And then for storyteller, for those of you who know Rimworld, you'll be well aware of this, but those who don't, storyteller basically just picks random events that are going to happen throughout the playthrough. We're going to go with Cassandra Classic, and we're going to do Strive to Survive. It's for slightly more experienced players, but I also find that if you do community building or adventure story, sometimes you don't get certain events which you kind of need to get colonists, so I like Strive to Survive. And of course, we're going to go to commitment mode. No reloading here. So, instead of doing this seed selection, we're going to go with the YouTube channel, Mr. Elliotts Gaming, as a seed, and we're going to do 50% global coverage. I'm not going to change the rest. And let's see what we get. Rightio, got a nice big world here. Normally, I would like to try and find a place that's got a good temperature all year round, closest to people, and ideally has caves, so I could grow around and then turtle up in a corner. But as we're not picking what I want, we're going to go random. Let's see, and fingers crossed everyone. No polar, no deserts. We have an extreme desert. That's not good at all. So the average temperature is 13 to 32. Pretty good. That's full growing period. However, I suspect growing is going to be difficult. It's an extremely hot, dry, arid, devoid of almost all life, and searing hot. Yeah, this is going to be difficult. Let's hope that the colonists that we can get are a little bit better. So, we have Camo, male 28. He's slow to learn and he's depressive. He is, however, pretty smart. He's quite social. He's got a burning passion for crafting. We've got Chantel. I don't know how that goes. They're incapable of violence. They're physically deaf. And they are a teetotaler. Teetotaler's pretty good. They are good at constructing. They're alright at cooking. Animals, crafting, medicine. That's a definite maybe. We've got Tyler. Tyler is a fast learner, has a bloodlust, and is slothful. So I generally want to avoid bloodlust, people with bloodlust, mostly because when they get into social fights, they are pretty nasty. But overall, they're a pretty moderate person. Emmanuel or Bicep. You're an undergrounder, which is kind of good, and slothful, but you have a burning passion for plants, which is something I really like. He's good at crafting, and is an intellectual. So, you know, I might go for Bicep. Bruce the Inventor is incapable of violence, is depressive, industrious, and pretty. Good at cooking, medicine, crafting, and intellectual. This is a bit of a common theme here. That's a strong maybe. Anfisa, what are you good at? You're an undergrounder and you have bloodlust. Again, sort of want to avoid it, but you do have a husband here. So, maybe. But you have some pretty severe addiction to wake up, which is a problem for us, as we probably won't have any, and we'll be dealing with breaks straight out the gate. All around, not too bad. Peter, you are a medieval doctor and a scout. You're incapable of intellect and artistic, but you're psychically dull, which is kind of good for us. And you're pretty. That's nice. You're good at medical. You're good at shooting and melee. You've got a passion for medicine. You can do construction, but overall, he's not a bad option. And McLean or Neville, you're incapable of dumb labour and violence. You're an optimist and you're slothful. Your plants are pretty damn good, and your artistic skills are quite good as well. So I think Peter is definitely coming in. For sure. I'm half tempted to take McLean just for the plants alone, because this does mean that we will be able to get heal root and things out the gate, which is pretty good for us. So those two are definites. And then what do we need? We need construction. Realistically, we need someone who's half decent at construction, mining. We need a generalist. Alright, so here we go. Here's the crew. Let's jump into it. Rightio. Here we go, guys. So, the map. Deserts. Generally pretty damn bad. And this is definitely no exception. So we want growing areas. This is what we really, really need. Now, we don't have much in the way of growing space, but we do have an all year round thing. So the options are either down here, there's some growing space, but it's not ideal because it's mostly because it's by the edges. Getting similar sort of thing. These are all a lot of growing space, but they're all by the edges, which could turn out pretty bad for us. I'm half tempted to go just here because we do have a bit of growing space here and here, and we can build into the hills, and we do have access to steam geyser for later on. Not the best. It's not the best. We will probably be struggling for food. The other option is we build around here and then we take over that and some of that. That might actually have to be the way we go, because if we can gain access to some of this, maybe wall it off a bit. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to go here. So, cue the montage of me setting up the base outline and Rosats. Right, so now we've kind of got the outline for the base setup. It's obviously not the best, but it is what we can really get. It's all we can really do with what we have. So I think one of the big things we're going to have to concentrate on very, very quickly is getting something to deal with the temperature, which is obviously going to be pretty bad, as well as getting resources together that we can use to build. So I think we're going to need a stonecutter's bench pretty rapidly, and then we're going to have to work from there. So let's get these guys geared though, because we need them. So Chantel, you cannot do anything. You're not violent, so that's not great. However, Bicep, you are 1 melee, so you're going to get the plasteel knife. And Shorty, you are our resident shooter, so I'm giving you the rifle. So hopefully we've got enough wood to just about build this up. But let's speed things up and watch these guys go. Now, hopefully, stockpile zone we can set up as roofed. So, that, and then a production stone bench. I'm gonna make this out of steel because unfortunately we don't have much in the way of other wood options. It unfortunately doesn't look like we have much of anything on here, but we do have some pretty cool bits and pieces over here. Marble. And a steel table. Okay, so what we might do, instead of doing that, is we'll cancel that. And what's that as well? Marble table. Right, we're going to claim that and we're going to reinstall it. One cool thing that I've found when I've been playing the Royal expansion is the case that we get some of these more of these ruins around here, like this one, and obviously some of the other ones we found, like this big one, and they pay out quite well early game because you can either strip them down and use them for parts, or they have nice little furniture stuff in like this where we can just nab it, so we don't need to build, which is great for us. So we've got a lot of marble, limestone even, yeah. So let's get to limestone production pretty quickly. We're obviously going to run out of wood almost immediately. I think we have. We're going to have problems with the wildlife trying to eat all of our stuff as well. So we may need to start working pretty rapidly towards somewhere to store all of our food. So, oh no. Yeah, these iguanas really are after our supplies. So, we have a hunter. Hunt them down. Whilst we're here, let's have a look at work. All the jobs should be covered. We don't have the best of doctors, so hopefully no one gets injured too soon, but we'll wait and see. And though it looks like people will be sleeping under the stars a bit tonight, at least they're not sleeping on the sand floor. So, excellent. So it looks like our #1 planter, Bicep, is also our only crafter as well at the moment. So luckily it looks like Shorty doesn't have much on, so I'm going to make Shorty do some crafting as well. Worst case, you can just botch a few of these limestone sections, but I don't see that happening too much, so let's start building some limestone walls to replace the ones that should have been wood. Hopefully with a bit more limestone. Luckily we're in a biome that's got quite a lot of stone resource. We should be able to build up a small, easily fortifiable base, which is the hope, so that when we do start getting attacked, due to the fact that we don't have many really decent defensive players, we should be able to sort of turtle up. I mean, it's going to be difficult. It's not like other times I've played where I've got mountains around. So we're going to have a bit of a problem there. But it seems like we've already got a wall. I'm quite happy with that. So things to worry about tomorrow when they're all a bit more awake. I think we need to look at power and a place to make food. After that, then we can start to look towards not mid game, but you know, things like batteries and other immediate sort of things. So whilst they're all asleep, let's just get ourselves a nice little built-up area. I think a good way to go about this is to expand out here, though we do have soft sand, which we do need to be a bit aware of. So what the plan is, I think, is I'm going to use this area here. I'm going to cancel. I think this is going to be our not storage. I think I'm going to use this as like our refrigerator. So we're going to store all of our meals in there, hopefully. And then we're going to expand this barracks out a little bit. See how we can go on from there. Just realised we have a dog as well called Lucia. Are they capable of anything? Ooh. It'd be good to have an attack dog, even if it is a Yorkshire Terrier. These little things yep and they'll nip at you. That's awesome. It's a bonus to have, but we've now got to that unfortunate point where we need to start ripping down walls to start building stuff. And ooh, nice pop up. We've got visitors. So this is one of the mods I've got installed. It's a hospitality mod. Pretty cool. So basically, if you've got guests set up, you can invite people in and they'll stay and they'll give you money dependent on how they think their trip was. Unfortunately, we're not quite in that position yet, but hopefully later down the line, we can build like a little guest house. A nice way to get extra money, and sometimes you can use it to get them to attack things that you don't want to deal with, just by cheesing it a little bit. So that's cool. Oh, we've got some new lovers, Bicep and really. I'm gonna have to either rename them or not, but yeah, new lovers, awesome. We're gonna have to make a double bed at some point, but not just yet. Hopefully when we can get this sort of all built up and stuff, we can start to strip these internal walls so that we can make this butcher's table, because we're going to need to get meat very, very rapidly. This is not going to be a colony of vegetarians, unfortunately, for a few people, mostly because we just can't. You can't survive without meat until a bit later into it. So now we've got ourselves a bit of power. This is pretty good. It means that we should be able to start to set up not only cooking but heating. Obviously it does mean that we're going to have to work towards batteries relatively quickly, because we'll be in a bit of an awkward position where we might be producing a bit too much power and not being able to store it. And when we bring on our refrigerator up here, that's going to just eat power. There is a mad iguana though, so let's... Oh no, not Bicep. Right, Bicep, go stab this guy up. Hopefully Bicep's fine. Yeah, yep, Bicep is. Finish it. Get back to what you were doing, my friend. So we should now have the resources in place to build our butcher's table, as well as a few other bits and pieces. Awesome stuff. So we're going to have potential for food. Excellent. Who doesn't like to eat? Food. Soon cooking. So these guys won't be at major risk of a break. Fingers crossed. Bicep is looking okay. They're without recreation and they've got an ugly barracks. Oh, that's a good point. No recreation. When in doubt, horseshoe and pin. It's easy. So yeah. So far, quite happy with this. Got food set up. Well, we've got food on the grow, I should say. We've got the ability to butcher creatures, which I will set up now whilst I'm doing this. We've got power coming through. We've got a nice little base. As far as starts go, it's not been the best, but it's by far not been the worst. It's not a polar start. We don't have wood. This is going to be something we'll probably be dealing with for a while, but all in all, not too bad. So, yeah. Really enjoyed the start of this. Hopefully you guys have as well. If you've got any comments, tips, or what have you, leave them down in the comment section below. I'll read everything. Hopefully, over the next coming weeks, this will improve. Things will get better, but trying to warm back into this. So, thank you for taking the time to watch. Hopefully, I'll see you next time. I've been Mr. Elliotts Gaming. See you later.